Welcome to the podcast. It is Monday morning. Well, actually, when I'm recording this, it is actually Sunday evening, and we have just beat Croatia 1-0. And as you can see, I am in my football kit. I've had a couple of bevies, so excuse me. I don't know. Just excuse me. So the reason why I'm doing it Sunday evening as opposed to Monday morning is because Monday morning I have to travel to Bournemouth. I talk about it more on Wednesday's episode when we talk about the monthly figures. But basically, we're going down to Bournemouth and we're a mastermind that is costing £10,000 for one day. And we are talking about how we can buy properties rather than lease them, because anybody in self-storage knows, but we need to maximize the worth of your business, to maximize what you get from your business if you sell. And by the way, we're not interested in selling anytime soon whatsoever. But you need to have in your portfolio, you need to make sure you have some freeholds as opposed to leaseholds. And so I want to learn all about that. So I'm really, really interested. And we've got some high net worth. Well, I am literally the poorest person in the room, which is good because it means I'm in the right room. If you're the smartest person in the room, if you are the richest person in the room, you, my friend, are in the wrong room. So therefore, I'm putting myself out of the comfort zone. I am absolutely wetting myself. Tomorrow, I'm going for a meal with all these guys who, every single one of them is a millionaire, and not just millionaire in terms of what the business is worth, but it's in terms of what's in the bank account. And yeah, I'm so far behind these people, but I'm putting myself in that situation because you are basically the average of your 5 closest friends. You are the average of the people you hang around most with. So I need to up the people I hang around with. And I don't mean that, no disrespect for people I hang around with. I just feel like that I need to learn more about that sort of sphere. I need to learn more about educating myself on buying properties. And at the minute, obviously, I've got 3 facilities. Every single one of them is leasehold. Therefore, there's a massive possibility to what I need to go now in my portfolio. I need to make sure that we have some freehold as well. Okay, on to this week. The amount of quotes were massive. We had 67 quotes. 67 quotes. It just keeps getting better and better. The average quotes per day were 9.57. Number of reservations were 18. So we had 18 reservations. That's the quotes to reservations is the conversion rate of 27%. 27%, we can't really argue with that. We want it between 25 and 30%, so we can't argue whatsoever at that. Number of forward move-ins, that means all the paperwork done, is 3, that's 17%. Number of new move-ins was 12. So that is a conversion rate of 18%. From quotes to move-ins is 18%. Again, we want to be a little bit more than that. However, I do believe, I know that a lot of those, it's a small sample size, and a lot of those move-ins that were supposed to come haven't come, and they'll come next week. So small sample size, 18%, I can live with that week by week, but on a monthly figures, we want to see more. So yeah, it's not particularly bad at all. Amount of square foot moved in was 1,250. Other move-ins, we had 6 other move-ins. We had some people downsizing, upsizing, taking extra rooms, taking less of a square footage. And so overall, we had total move-ins of 1325. Number of times the van was rented out was 6. Guess how many times the Luton was rented out? Come on, guess. Are you ready? 8. Yeah. What? 8? That's what I thought. I thought, wait a second. It's only 7 days. How the hell can it be rented out 8 times? And the reason being is because it was rented out twice in one day. So we got double whammy. So that's great. So Transit 6, Luton 8. That's been the first time in a long time that Luton has beat the Transit. So quote breakdown. Where did our quotes come from? Google 51. That is 76%. Word of mouth was 9%. Passing by was 9%. They are both 6 quotes each. Belvedere 24 was 1. That is 1%. Used before, estate agents, Bing, leaflet, blog was 0. Social media was 3%, and removals was 1.49%, so 1%. We've been doing this leaflet service. I will tell you more about it in the future. At the minute, it's not worth the money. We've cancelled it because, and I say leaflet service, what it basically means is when somebody is sold the house subject to contract, then we will automatically send them a leaflet out. And it sounds great. It sounds like that sounds like the perfect client. However, it's just not really worked out for us. What we try and do, we don't try and sell them. We try and give them something. We try and the art of reciprocity, and we try to make sure that we give first before we ask. And we give like £30 worth of moving boxes, etc. But it hasn't really manufactured to anybody moving in, really. So it's early stages. We've got another 3 months to go, so we'll see how it goes. There's plenty of time for it to turn it around, but at the minute, it hasn't really been worth it. So total square foot moved in is, I'll tell you straight after we speak to our sponsors. Just had a drink. It is square foot moved in is 1,325. Square foot moved out was 1,075. So we had a net positive of 250 square foot this week. Amount of rooms moved in was 18. Amount of rooms moved out was 13. Oh, I've just seen how much the store occupancy is. Oh, it's really good. So we've got a total internal rooms occupied of 380. No containers in, no containers out. And so it's 26. We've got 26 containers occupied at the minute. Amount of car parking spaces at the minute is none in, none out. We've got 14. Store occupancy, are you ready for this? Is 85.57%. Right now, at the minute, is 87.57%. So 88%. That is incredible. I'm over the moon. I genuinely, if you're watching this on video, I genuinely can't wait until we get to 90%. That for me, and I know I said it before, when I was at 80, I said, I can't wait to be 85. And now I'm at 85 plus, I can't wait to be 90. But you can't get better than 90. There's no way that you can consistently be 90 plus percent. Well, you can be, but it takes it's incredibly, well, it's fantastic if you can do. So anywhere on 90%, then I'm over the moon. And at the minute, I said to you guys that 85% I'll be over the moon, and we're 87.57. And that's great because we're fully built out. We've got loads of containers in the yard. It's just a great feeling. Weekly average sales per move-in, that's merchandise, is £15.24. We want to be around about 25 quid. However, it's one of those things. Maybe we're setting that bar too high. What else? The amount of insurance sold this week was £72,000. And that means that we took an average of £6,000 per move-in. £6,000 per move-in is incredible. That's on insurance. We aim for £5,000. And by the way, the average for the national firms is £4,000. So, well, last time I heard, for you national firm employees and managers and stuff, I don't know what you guys are doing now, but I know last time I found out it was 4,000, and last week we hit 6,000. Last month we hit 5,333 quid. So anything over the 5,000 mark is exceptional for me. I'm really, really pleased with that. And for those of you who aren't doing insurance or aren't maximizing it, you are literally leaving £5 on the table. You need to maximize your insurance. And if you want to know how we sell it, get in touch, deanbooty@icloud.com, because it's right for the customer because you're correctly insuring their goods, and it's right for you because it's revenue management, and revenue management is key to any successful business. So yeah, get in touch if you want to know how we do it. We're averaging last month of 5,333. This last week was averaging £6,000, and we're not cheap either. We're not cheap for the insurance, and nor should we be. We are exactly in line with the big national firms, and you guys. I see so many independent. This is one big thing with independence, that we undervalue ourselves, and you shouldn't do. You undervalue insurance. You don't believe people are going to pay it, but they do. And so you need to correctly charge for the correct service, whether it be your square footage, correctly charge for that. People will pay more. People will pay more than you expect. And the insurance, people will pay more than you expect as well, because people don't know, they don't understand self-storage. So you are setting the precedence. You are the person who sets their expectations. They have no idea what their expectations are until they phone you. And then it's your job to educate them and tell them why they need insurance, what the benefits are, and the cost of it. And like I said, I always say you wouldn't have a Ferrari and insure it for a Mini. And again, it's a win for them and a win for you. God forbidden, if anything happens like what happened in Manchester, where there's a fire, a lot of those people wasn't correctly insured. And I do get somewhat a lot of grief from other people about this podcast when I go about insurance, because people on about how much we make from insurance. Yeah, I do get the grief from it. But ultimately, it's about maximizing revenue. It's about looking after your customers. And if you can maximize your revenue while looking after your customers, why wouldn't you do that? And so, yes, I am bullish about insurance, and you need to make sure that you are. I say it all the time. I'm really, really sorry if people are bored with this, because it's something that is so overlooked. But you need to make sure that you are maximizing your insurance. If your insurance is less than 15% of your overall revenue, then you need to up your insurance game. Yeah, I'm pausing on purpose, because people will be thinking, well, how much is your insurance? How much do you charge per thousand? What do you do? If anybody wants to know, deanbooty@icloud.com, happily share everything we do, because we're stronger together, and we also are making sure the customers are correctly insured. So whatever happened in Manchester doesn't happen again. That if any fire happens, then worst case scenario, that the customer's belongings are insured for the correct amount, and you've got no backlash whatsoever. And guess what? You're making revenue from that as well. So please make sure that you are correctly insuring the customer's goods, and you need to make sure. People laugh at this when I say this, but it needs to be 15% of your overall revenue. So whatever your revenue is from rentals, 15% of that needs to be insurance. If it's not, you are underselling your insurance, and we need to look at that, because you are leaving money on the table, my friends. And it's a quick win that you can alter just like that, and you can make an extra £10,000 a month, or you can make an extra £5,000, whatever it may be. But it's a quick win that we can turn around and we can make a difference on. Okay, so I'll stop talking about insurance. Next week, the amount of move-ins due next week are 13. The amount of square foot due in next week is 1,125. Amount of square foot moved due to move out is 810. So we should have a really good week next week. I think it's going to be above 500 square foot. We've had a good month so far, and I think it's going to be continued that way. Let's have a look at some more information. I have got the revenue sheet ready for you. Oh, yeah. Oh, wow. I never expected it. I never expected that much, to be honest. So, Stormo, we took £20,604.52, and we had £277.20 of bounce direct debits. Beverly, we had zero bounce direct debits. We very, very rarely have bounce direct debits at Beverly, because it's a mature site. We got the customer we want in. It's just a good site. We took £3,830.71, and that means we took a total of £24,435.23. And let's not forget the coppers, because it's incredible. Really, really happy with the amount of revenue. That's the first time I've seen that, by the way, folks. I've only just opened it. Actual revenue versus. Oh, yeah, here we go. So far in June, we are support that the true period revenue said we're supposed to take £35,143.56, and we have taken £37,643.42. That is a positive of £2,499.86. So amazing stuff there, especially at 13th of June. We normally are behind at this stage, so I can only imagine what's going to be at the end of the month. Beverly, true period revenue is £6,299.25, and we've actually taken £7,977.54. So that's a positive of £1,678.29. So in total, it's been a great week. It's been an absolutely fantastic week. If you are listening to this and thinking about self-storage, please start actively looking for self-storage facilities. You must get into this. Now, I promise you that in a year's time, I've just done a piece for a magazine. And yes, obviously, the best time to get in self-storage is 5 years ago, 10 years ago. But the second best time is right now. If you don't, you will regret it, because in 5 years' time, you think, oh, yeah, sure, get in self-storage. Guess what? You have an amazing opportunity right now to get into self-storage. It is the gift that keeps on giving. I do call it the land grab, but I do think that that's probably a little bit unfair, because you do need to have a certain amount of expertise. But if you're listening to this podcast and you want to learn, then you're educating yourself and you listen to you'll be fine. You'll be absolutely fine. So yeah, definitely get into self-storage. I know that we've got a lot of listeners who are from commercial real estate, and we're looking to get in. This now, my friends, is the time. And obviously, the more I tell you, the more competition I'm going to get. But hopefully, the more I'm educating you guys, the more I'm saying, giving you exactly what we look for, then you won't go into overcrowded markets. Because the biggest issue with self-storage, the biggest problem self-storage has is self-storage itself, is other people coming into the markets. And so if we all educate, that's why we're doing this podcast. That's why the Americans are doing their podcast, because the biggest threat to self-storage is self-storage. And everybody's saying, oh yeah, self-storage is great. Yeah, we just open up everywhere. No, we've got to do it with a format. We've got to do it with some education. We've got to do it with some foundings. We've got to do our feasibility. And you can't just open self-storage. What we've got to do is say, okay, there's a self-storage there. Do you know what? Yeah, we've got to let a self-storage be. We can't then open up, because what you're doing is you're diluting the supply. And there's only so much demand in every single area. And as soon as you open, if it's 10,000 square foot, then another 10,000 square foot comes, you're doubling the demand. Supply, sorry. And so we've got to be careful. What we don't want to do is just open up willy-nilly. And so the more we educate people in self-storage, the more we're going to look after and protect this industry, because that's the biggest problem we've got, is overdevelopment. We don't want to overdevelop in certain areas, because as soon as we do, that is when we start doing stupid offers, like 12 weeks for a £1. I don't know. I've seen that in America. Absolutely ridiculous. We don't want to be those guys. So what we need to do is educate ourselves, make sure we're the best operators we possibly can be, and make sure we listen, we learn, and we find locations that are underserviced. As soon as you find a location that, oh yeah, you know what, Birmingham's real busy. Safe Store opening up in Birmingham again. It must be fantastic. Yeah, it is fantastic. However, leave it to them, because it's going to be overdeveloped. So if you open up another 20,000 square foot in Birmingham, it's just not worth it. It's not worth your time. It's not worth you're going to be battling against the big boys. So what we need to do is we need to pick our battles, and we need to make sure that when we open a self-storage, it's because it's underserviced, not because it's a fancy location, London. Guess what? I'm opening a self-storage in London. It doesn't matter. It can be, I don't know, Beverly, it can be Hornsey, wherever it is. As long as you find somewhere that's underserviced, it has to be under 0.7 square foot of self-storage per capita. If it is, guess what? Then you've got an opportunity for growth there. But you've got to remember, you've got to add in the amount of square foot that you're going to bring into the market. So you've got to add into that as well. So the biggest danger to self-storage is self-storage itself. And the more we can educate, the more we can learn, the Self-Storage Association can put information out there, the better for everybody, because there's enough of this industry to go around for everybody. I'm creating generational wealth, not just my wealth. I can give up right now. I can stop right now, and my life would not change. I would live a fantastic lifestyle. But I'm not about that. I'm about the game. I love the game. And so what we can do now is we can create generational wealth. But as long as we do it correctly, as long as we do it educationally, as long as we do open up for self-storage in the right area. And what we've got to be careful of is just thinking, yeah, do you know what? I can open it here. I can open it here. We've got to make sure that we're doing it correctly. And if we do that, there's many, many, many locations for you, me, everyone listening to this. We can do it. And people say, why do you give away everything? And do you know what? It doesn't matter how many times you tell people to do something. 90% of the people won't do it. 90% of the listeners here who haven't opened the self-storage won't open the self-storage. It's irrelevant. So the people that do and take action and do something, then it's fantastic. And by the way, the people who do it, that's awesome as well, because it might not be right for you. It doesn't matter. It doesn't mean just because there's an opportunity in self-storage that you have to. You've got to do what's right for you. It's got to be a correct opportunity for you, for your family, and your mentality and where you are right now in the world. And if it's not, that's fine. But for those of you who are seriously looking at self-storage, honestly, please, please, please do it. Do it, because you're going to create generational wealth. It is, as long as you do it correctly. And the fact that you're listening to this podcast, you will listen, you will learn, you will educate yourself, you will surround yourself with people who know about self-storage. I have got no doubt you'll make a go of it. So yeah, self-storage is a fantastic business. I can't say any more about it. I think I'm so grateful for the industry, and that's why I'm so bullish, because I want everybody to experience what I've experienced. Maybe it's an element of guilt, because I don't think I'm anything special. I genuinely don't think that I'm anything special. I don't think anything we do is anything special. And maybe I'm guilty because of how well that self-storage market has made us do. So yeah, maybe that's the reason that I'm banging this drum so much. It is a fantastic opportunity. If I can do it, I'm definitely sure you guys can do it as well. Because when I started self-storage, I knew nothing, absolutely nothing. And I surrounded myself, educated myself, and here we are. So, yep, get on that self-storage. All right, guys, girls, I will let you know all about my week away next Monday. Yeah, next Monday. And let you know what I've learned and stuff. I may even do a separate episode on it, depending on what I learn. And by the way, like I said, I'm spending £10,000 plus, obviously, expenses and hotels and stuff for one day. It's not one day. It's 9:30 till 4. That's not a day. That's not a day. So, guys, I'm going to share everything I learn with you guys. And yeah, it's going to be fantastic. I'm really looking forward to it. And so next week, I will let you know what I learned. Good, bad, indifferent. Yeah, I'm going to share it all here. All right, guys, girls, I'm going to finish my Southern Comfort, and I'll see you soon. Thank you so much for listening. Loads of Dean love to each and every single one here. Bye.